They had the wrong door. So you're saying what was the big deal about being on pretrial release?
Right. What did you have to do?
Have you ever been on pretrial release?
Oh, hell no. And I don't ever want to be on it.
Yeah, so
I'm asking you, what is it that you had to, that's why I'm asking, what did you have to do?
I was treated like dog shit. I had to drive an hour and a half.
What did you have to do?
I had to drive an hour and a half every week to give my urine. I still have to call in.
On bond, they can make you do that too, by the way.
They don't, though. When you bond out, you're innocent until proven guilty, like I first said when they let me out.
No, but you're innocent until proven guilty on supervised on pretrial release too.
You don't need to be. You don't need to be supervised.
Yeah, what I'm trying to tell you. That's why they call pretrial services officers. There's a whole damn office.
I know, but why is?
For people who get bond, they get supervised whether they come out on pretrial.
Yeah, but don't they have to offer?
What?
Don't they have to offer you a bond?
No, they don't have to do a damn thing. The thing is this: you get a bond or you get pretrial release. You got pretrial release.
Yeah, who determines what you get?
The judge.
There was no judge.
Let me tell you this. What?
I was told before I saw the judge, nobody gets a bond federally. It's all ROR by Rubin from pretrial.
Yeah, well, that's foolishness. But the fact of the matter is this. You could have been made to pay a bond.
Not according to him.
Well, listen to me. Fuck him. I'm telling you the rules. Well, you're giving me about some schmo I don't know who said something in the past that don't matter because that day is over. But what I'm trying to tell you is, if the judge decided to give you a bond, what he's doing is he's going in your pocket. Right?
Yeah.
That's all that means. Pretrial, everybody who gets a bond wants what you got.
I was told that nobody gets a federal bond.
I know, but what I'm saying is, what you're confusing it. You're like saying, I was told that nobody gets $10 million. How come I got $10 million instead of $50?
All right, let me ask you this: if you got
recognizance is better than a bond.
Dude, everybody in jail knows you don't do ROR. You rather bond out because they're gonna try to violate you if you do pretrial, and you got to do all this shit.
But everybody in jail might know that, and you know what? They're in freaking jail. They don't know shit. The judge can give you a bond and make you drive up there.
So why wasn't I offered a bond?
Listen to me. I don't fucking know. I wasn't there. But what I'm saying to you is this: the judge could have given you a bond, made you have to spend money to get out,
Yeah.
and still, as a condition of your bond, make you drive up and drop piss every week.
Yeah, they don't really do that when you bond out. They don't.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
Yeah, maybe
do.
1 out of 100.
No. They do it based upon whether or not they think the person, if they think a person has a drug problem, they're going to make them drop piss. I don't care if you're an ROI or you spent $100,000 to get out on $1 million bond.
But my question,
if they think you have a drug problem, they're going to make you drop piss.
my question is still this though. Why did the dude that got the same 4 charges as me?
I don't know, but what you're asking me, why did the guy right here just cut me off in traffic? You don't know that guy. I don't know you. Is that the fact that you got pretrial release?
So all of the stress from the past few years of pretrial release could have been avoided by $100.
The part about that you're getting wrong is you think that all those conditions that you had to follow were because of the fact that you were on pretrial release.
They were 100%. 100% were.
But you could have been ordered to follow.
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened. He wasn't. This dude.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. He says it.
You're making up stuff.
What am I making up?
There are people who got released on pretrial release, like you, who didn't have to drop piss.
What am I making up?
Dropping piss is not a condition condition of pretrial release. Dropping piss is a condition that the judge imposes, whether it's bond or it's pretrial release, if he thinks that there is a drug problem to be addressed. End of story. So there are people like you who got released on pretrial release who didn't have to go drop piss. So you're tying it. The thing is, you having to drop piss was the judge perceiving you as being somebody who had a drug problem. That's it.
The judge had nothing to perceive that by.
What I'm trying. Okay, fine. Maybe this judge sucked. But what I'm trying to tell you is what you are doing is you are associating having to drop piss with being on pretrial.
Yeah.
And that is incorrect. It's an incorrect.
Dude, that is like 99% correct.
I have a guy now who drops piss.
Dude, you know people, you know that.
I have a guy right now. He's my client. He drops piss every single week, and he spent $35,000 to get out on a $350,000 bond. I also have guys who are on pretrial release who don't have to drop piss because they're not implicated as having a drug problem. The dropping piss part has nothing to do with whether you have a bond or pretrial release.
That's not even the main part. The main part for me is I was told when I was booked that nobody gets a bond federally.
So what, though, Andrew? So what? You got something better than a bond.
That's not better than a bond. I would have rather bonded out.
It is better. If you bonded, you could have had to. You're not listening to me. You could have bonded out, and the judge tells you after you drop bond, you go drop piss every week.
Yeah, that's very rare. That's rare.
No, that is not true. You're just making that very rare up. It happens.
Dude, every single person.
It is based on whether or not the judge in question believes that you have a drug problem that needs to be monitored. Period.
It's common sense. Everybody that's been arrested, everybody that's ever been arrested knows if you ROR, you're going to have to report. If you don't ROR...
No, that's not true. It's not true.
Yeah, it is.
You're just making shit up, bro. But you don't care about... Do you care about the facts? Did I not just tell you I have a guy who just spent $35,000 on one of his conditions of bond? I could send you the federal bond papers.
Yeah.
The federal bond papers.
Were they misdemeanors? Were they misdemeanors?
It does not matter. The issue, because dropping piss and a bond and pretrial release, none of that is intended to be punitive. So whether or not, so you want to think, so here's your thinking, which clearly is way off. Oh, this guy got charged with, he got charged with rape, and therefore it's a felony, so we have to drug test him. No, you drug test somebody if you think they need drug testing because they have a drug problem.
Yeah. And there was no reason to think I needed it.
Okay, so this judge fucked up. But that's not the point. The point is you are trying to tie it to being on pretrial release. But you are actually saying that they say, okay, you know what, this guy, they gave me $10 million. I can't believe it. I could have got 50. I can't believe they gave me $10 million.
No, what I'm saying...
I had to pay taxes. I had to pay taxes on this $10 million. Yeah, well, you're going to have to pay taxes
That's not what I'm saying.
Because most of them require taxes. So what I'm trying to tell you is a condition for you to drop piss has nothing to do with whether you're on pretrial release or you're on bond.
Yeah, maybe 5-10% of the time.
What?
Maybe 5 to 10% of the time.
But hey, go back up your ass where you pull them statistics out and go.
I bet you it's pretty close. I guarantee you it's not far off.
You can't guarantee me shit when I'm doing this shit every day for the last 30 years.
So you think... So let me just ask you this.
Only in your cases, and you think you know the stats better than me.
So let me ask you this.
I don't know why. You must think I'm a dumbass.
Just like I said.
What I'm telling you is if I show you the bond papers for shorty gone, so they had to spend 15% to get out. There is a page. There are standard conditions of bond for every bond. And then there's a page. And on that page, there are about 15 conditions, maybe 20, that you check off based upon your particular circumstances. One would be drug testing and treatment if necessary. It is imposed if it's deemed to be an issue regarding that particular defendant. It has nothing to do with
Based on what? What are they based that on?
They based it on what they perceive to be your history.
How do they perceive it?
I'm not telling you this judge made the right call. I'm not telling you that you should have had to do it, Andrew. I am telling you that the fact that you are on pretrial release isn't why you had to do it. And
It's because I ROR, dude.
No, God almighty, bro.
You go to pretrial when you fucking ROR. It's common sense.
If you know more of this shit than me, why the fuck you asking me and texting me a question? You just want to argue?
Have you ever been on pretrial release?
I'm telling you, the bond papers. I'm telling you, the bond papers. All of them. Not ROR papers.
Dude, I didn't want to argue. I didn't call you. I was just texting you.
But I'm telling you facts, and it's me telling you, hey, look, Andrew, Tuesday comes before Wednesday. No, man, that's only 10% of the time. The rest of the time, no, Andrew, Tuesday comes before Wednesday. Yeah, but I know this other guy, and he said, no, Andrew, Tuesday comes before Wednesday. I am telling you, as I sit here, that I will willingly send you a copy of a bond paper, which shows that bonds, which can include up to corporate surety bonds, 10% bonds, or personal surety bonds, all have a page where you check off whether or not the person has to go and get drug tested or not.
Yeah.
All of them do that. It ain't a pretrial services thing versus a bond thing. It's a do I think this person needs to be drug tested thing. That's all it is, bro. That's all it is. Whether you got pretrial, if you were some priest out on the Capitol and you had never had any kind of run-ins of the law in the past, and nobody thought, and this person, whoever the judge was, thought that you were Mr. Anti-Drugs, he would not expend the resources of the government by telling you to go get tested every week because he wouldn't think the person needed it.
Why? Because Pat...
Now, he might have made that decision based on nothing. He might have made that decision based on seeing your tattoos and having some preconceived notion of who you are. I'm not saying he made a correct decision, nor am I saying he made a fact-based decision. What I'm telling you is the decision has nothing to do with whether you're on pretrial or not. Bro.
Of course it does.
The fuck? All right.
You don't go on fucking... You don't go on... Dude.
It does.
You don't go on probation. You don't go on probation when you bond out.
It's not probation.
Yes, the fuck it is.
You go on pretrial release.
They figured out a way to put people on probation before conviction. That's what the fuck they did.
You're not on probation. You are on supervision.
Oh, yeah? Well, so why when I get pulled over does the cop's shoulder radio say federal probation?
Because whatever he says on his radio or whatever doesn't mean shit.
I've been on probation for 3 years.
You are not on probation.
I've been on probation since I got arrested.
You are not on probation.
Yeah, that's the whole trickery of it. It's not called probation, but guess what? Your pretrial officer, when you plea, becomes your probation officer. Isn't that a fucking surprise?
No, actually, but somebody else from the office will become your probation officer.
Yeah, from the same office, but you're not on probation.
I'm not saying that you're not under supervision. The presumption of innocence in
It's a violation. It's a violation.
That it does not mean that bro, stop. You're just freaking reading all this
Dude,
bullshit.
it's a violation of due process.
Online, and you're an expert all of a freaking sudden.
You gotta let me get a word in. You gotta let me get. Did you snort some coke this early, man?
No, go.
You are all fucking amped up.
You're just stuff up stupid, bro, and I can't. I'm trying to unstick you, and all you got to do is listen, and you'll unstick.
I'm not good at listening.
Yes, you are on supervision. Yes, it looks just like probation, but it's not probation.
Oh yeah, so a deer that looks like a fucking deer isn't a deer. This is the fucking 2 + 2 = 5 bullshit that you follow, man. I'm telling you. They try to tell you it's not this. Oh no, it's not that. That's not what you saw.
But here's the thing. You know what I don't like too? I also don't like the fact that the speed limit is 60 miles an hour on the highway. I wish it was 85 because that's like my normal driving speed. I have to follow it. You have to follow it, and we can both scream at the moon all night long about the fact that it should be 85. It ain't gonna make it 85.
Well, I'm pretty. I honestly, I want to call. I want to call the U.S.
Criminal justice that have been developed over the last 100 years are gonna change because it's time for a change. All that bullshit ain't gonna happen. You can do that fantasy and waste your life if you want to, but it ain't going nowhere, bro.
I want to, honestly, what this makes me want to do is call the U.S. Marshal's office that booked me and Ruben, who was my pretrial officer before he tried to drop me and violate me, which was his goal from the beginning, and ask them, why would you tell me and not offer me a bond?
Call him. Andrew. Don't you have a fucking phone in your
Because
hand?
my life would have been a whole lot less stressful if they would have offered a bond.
Call him, bro. Call him, because the thing is that I'm trying to explain to you, which you refuse to understand. Even though I'm telling you I could show you on a piece of freaking paper, is that you could have paid money to get out on bond and everything could have been identical.
That is a violation of due process. That's a you cannot have stipulations.
You know why it's not a violation of due process? Because due process is a freaking couple of words.
You cannot assume that I'm guilty.
Who decides? Wait. Let me finish my sentence. The person who decides whether it's a violation of due process or not are the people sitting up on the Supreme Court of the United States. Okay? Due process is a word. It's a phrase. It's not a thing. It's not well, that's a cat and that's a dog. No, it's a phrase. And the people who decide it, just like, the equal protection used to protect you against being, it's called Roe v. Wade, and you had the right to privacy, and you had the right to not have people come in your room and tell you. All of a sudden, the new Supreme Court says, oh, no, that's not the law anymore. So what I'm saying is, you saying it's a violation of due process is all well and good, and you're entitled to that opinion. If that opinion is not shared by the people who are determining your fate, then it's a waste of time. You say, I'm a defense lawyer, bro. Let me tell you, as a defense lawyer, all this shit you're saying about how unfair the system is the same shit that liberal justices have been saying for the last century.
But now they're going again.
No, it's the Alitos and the Clarence Thomases of the world who have been telling, and Rehnquist and all the conservative justices, all the things you don't like about the criminal law, Republican justices made it that way when they had a majority on the court. And they're making it that way now. And the only way they want an exception is if you look like Trump.
Now you're moving into blaming Trump and Republicans for what I'm stressed about.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you a fact. You want to freaking go research the law? Go on Google. And every single law that you think is harsh in the criminal law, you will see it was a conservative justice of the Supreme Court who made it so. Facts. I'm not making the shit up. Everything, like you have a right to remain silent, you have a Miranda rights, you shouldn't be this, you shouldn't be that, and all the rights of protect defendants. You go look it up, you'll see Justice Hugo Black, Justice William Brennan, Justice Thurgood Marshall, Justice William Blackmun all wrote those opinions. You want to see anything where they're rolling back those civil rights. Justice William Rehnquist. Who else? Justice Powell. Now it's Gorsuch and Kavanaugh.
So why would liberal judges all of a sudden start doing it?
Conservative justices are big. Go your ass to jail. Fuck your civil rights. That's what they do. Liberal justices.
Not recently. Not recently.
Well, bro, that's ridiculous. Tell me what you're saying. What's different? When has it changed recently?
It's all flipped. What do you mean?
Name one instance. Name one instance.
One instance of what?
Because you're telling me, you're saying that. I'm telling you that conservative justices snatch your rights. Liberal justices give you your rights. And you're telling me, not recently. Tell me.
Well,
why?
Ever since January 6th, it's conservatives that actually care about rights.
So what you're saying, conservatives all of a sudden care because all the people who are being convicted, who are being prosecuted, are Republican-leaning white guys. So now they want to change the rules. Is that what you're saying?
Actually, the guy I called you about.
Sounds like some bullshit to me.
The guy I called you about is a black guy.
That's not the point. The point is he's one in a trillion.
Oh.
If what you're saying is all of a sudden, and you know what? You wouldn't be far off because you know what? In the federal sentencing guidelines, you will go and look. There's a part of the federal sentencing guidelines that talks about downward departures. These are all the reasons that the judges should reduce a defendant's sentence from mercy. You know, with the very first case where the Supreme Court approved it and gave you a long list of why you should do it? The case of United States versus Coates. You know who Coates is? That was a seminal case where for the first time all of a sudden the Supreme Court's giving some guidance and telling the lower courts, you really should consider downward departures. You know who Coates was? Coates was a lead defendant who beat Rodney King's ass in L.A. Before that, the guidelines were in effect for like 7 or 8 years. Supreme Court, every time you go up there, oh no, fuck it, no, but the minute a cop who beat somebody to death,
hang on.
and they beat somebody to death, as the minute he comes up and it's his turn, all of a sudden, we see you really should give it some more thought. It's bullshit. So if what you're trying to tell me is now since January 6th, since there are like 3, 4, 5, 6,000 people who are being arrested and they're conservative white males, and all of a sudden the conservative justices all of a sudden see the need for the criminal justice due process laws to apply suddenly, then all you're telling me is that they need to go fuck themselves.
Why would you not? Why would you not?
It's not white men.
Well, if you agree, why would you not like that they do if you agree?
I'm not saying that anything that goes in favor of due process, I agree with. I can disagree with your motives. I can say, thank God that finally some racist-ass white cop who beat the shit out of Rodney King, thank God he finally got prosecuted because now all of a sudden we have some law that helps criminal defendants that says that they should consider these downward departures. I could say thank God for that. I can also at the same time say, well, ain't that a bitch these hypocritical bastards all of a sudden see the reason to do it. It don't make them any less hypocritical, and it don't make them any less bastards, but it's good if the law changes in the right direction.
Which it will.
You're saying that, well, if it does, then it does, but it hasn't yet, bro. And what I'm trying to tell you is that a condition of bond requires, there are several conditions of bond that can be imposed. Multiple. And they're all called, they're special conditions is what they're called. They're standard conditions for every bond, and then there's special conditions, which are tailored to the particular case. You see, if somebody gets charged with credit card fraud, and they have a fraud case, you might think, hey, that's not as bad as somebody who got charged with murder or a drug case, but you know what? The guy who got charged with credit card fraud, his special condition of bond is going to say that he is not allowed to work in any place that has anybody's financial information.
So mainly one of my
to take out He's not allowed to take
one of
out
my
an Indian
conditions.
jet, yada, yada, yada. But the murder, you're going to say, well, how come the murder doesn't have those conditions? You know why? Because nobody's worried about the fact
So let me ask you this.
him being around people's financial information.
Can conditions...
It's based upon your particular situation.
Are conditions allowed to violate your constitutional rights?
And they're not presumed to violate your
So why would I be told...
They do.
Why would I be told that I cannot travel to D.C. or out of a certain area because I ROR'd?
Because travel restrictions are a condition of pretrial release, whether or not you're on bond or not.
No, that's not true.
There are conditions. Bro, I'm telling you, man, God damn it. You want me to show you? When I show you these bond papers, could you promise me that you will shut the fuck up about this shit?
Show me another show me another January 6er that bonded out.
January 6th doesn't have shit to do with it, bro. The fact is, it's a bond paper. And the bond papers for every criminal defendant in every single federal criminal case, it's the same bond papers. So if the bond papers have travel restrictions, it says you can't go by an airport. You have to turn over your passport. You have travel restrictions.
But you're innocent till proven guilty.
Well, talk to your freaking conservative justices who made it that way, bro. The fact is that
You're blaming them.
I'm not arguing you whether or not these restrictions are an infringement on your rights. What I'm telling you is these restrictions have been determined to be legal. And there's nobody who's putting a thumb on the scale and fucking you over because it's January 6th versus anything else.
Of course there is.
These conditions of bond are determined to be legal. People have been getting bond conditions that require them to drop piss and have travel restrictions since decades and decades before you were born.
But slavery,
charge, bro. What are you saying?
Slavery was legal. How'd that work out?
Bro, I'm not arguing whether or not it's their due process right. What you're trying to say is they're doing this to me because I'm January 6th. What I'm trying to tell you is they do it to every single criminal defendant.
Well, that's even worse.
Based upon whether or not they believe the person needs to be monitored around other people's financial information. Okay, what did he get charged with? He got charged with dealing 100 kilos of dope. Well, isn't that worse than the guy who got charged with a $10,000 credit card fraud? Yes.
The part that's confusing.
The credit card fraud is because he suggests that he steals people's shit.
Did you blow a line of coke at 1 p.m.?
What?
Did you blow a fucking line of coke? I've never heard you this excited.
Bro, because you're just going around in a fucking circle, and I'm in the middle of the day, and I do have some other shit to do. But you refuse. I'm telling you, here's the bond paper, and the bond paper says all these conditions, but you're gonna say, "Oh no, they're doing it because it's January 6th, and it never happened."
This is my question to you, though. Let me get in.
Who you freaking worship?
Let me get 10. Can I get 10?
Everything you object to.
Can I get 10 seconds in?
Everything you object to is being put in place by conservatives that you vote for.
Can I get 10 seconds in before you talk over me?
The self-sabotage.
Can I get 10 seconds? All I want is 10 seconds. I want to ask you one thing seriously. So, if you feel this way about the justice system and you seem like you have for a long time, why when others are waking up to it, why do you shame them and shun them and tell them why do you tell them not to think
what am I doing? What am I shaming you on?
You're saying, fuck you guys, you just noticed this shit now, it's been happening forever.
No, what I'm saying is, first of all, here's my problem with it. You're saying, hey, I object to these 10 things about the criminal justice system. And that's why I got to vote for Trump. Trump is putting justices on the Supreme Court who are doubling down on all the shit you object to. Doubling down and making it worse. So, on the one hand, you're complaining, and on the other hand, you don't realize the source source of all the stuff you're complaining about, because the source of all the stuff you're complaining about is the people that you're voting into office. Period. End of story. There is no two ways about it. It ain't even debatable.
Why would you think Trump is? You think Trump's a Republican, don't you?
No. I think Trump put in Gorsuch, he put in Kavanaugh, and he put in Amy Barrett. All of them are conservative justices. So I don't think Trump is a Republican. I don't think Trump is a conservative. I think Trump is a narcissistic criminal asshole. And he doesn't have... Trump does not have a political philosophy. I know that you have seen the two things. I know you've seen these two things come out of Trump's mouth. I know you must have seen them videos by now. When he says, I got to tell you, I'm a businessman, and every time the Democrats are in the White House, the economy is better. That's coming out of Trump's freaking mouth. And you know what else came out of his mouth? If I ever run for office, I'm going to run as a Republican because they're idiots. They'll fall for everything.
Are you allowed to?
What?
Are you allowed to because you're born in Canada?
I'm telling you what Trump said.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you.
Trump said that. Trump said out of his own mouth.
Yeah, 30 years
I
ago.
ever run for political office. So 30 years ago he thought you're all a bunch of idiots and he woke up to it. You know what else he said? He also said every time the Democrats are in office, the economy is better.
Is he saying that now?
But here's the thing. If you're saying it based on statistics, it's like you're saying, oh, you know what? 30 years ago you said 1 + 1 is 2. Is he saying it now? But you know what? 1 + 1 is still freaking 2. So the fact is, if he looked at all the economy back then, and every time the Democrats are in office, the economy is better, then it don't matter if he changes his mouth now, even though he hasn't changed his mind now. The reason he's changing his mouth now is the other tape where he says, if I ever run, I'm going to run as a Republican because they're a bunch of freaking idiots and suckers. That's why he's running as a Republican now, because he knows he doesn't need an agenda. All he got to do is get up there and say, hey, look at that guy, and all this bullshit, and everybody loves him all of a sudden when he doesn't have a single... When Trump ran for office, it was the first time in the history of America that a political party running for office has no agenda.
Can you tell when you...
Do nothing. I'm running for office. Well, what do you plan to do? Oh, I don't have any plans, but I tell you what, it's going to be great. I have a plan for that. You're going to get it in 2 weeks. Oh, it's been 10 years. You still haven't put it out yet. Oh, don't worry about it. Give me another 2 weeks.
Dude, I can't get a fucking word in.
You guys are falling for 3-card Malky. You're falling for a fucking joker.
Let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. As a human being, when you watch somebody talk, can you tell if they're genuine or not?
If he's an idiot? I can tell it. I can tell one. I can tell if he's pulling it from his ass.
So
yes.
when you watch Trump talk, let me ask you this. When you watch Trump talk, you really think he's not being genuine?
I think he's a genuine asshole.
Okay. So you think he's being genuine? Because when I think when
he says racist shit, he's genuine about it. Yes, I do.
So you believe him?
When he says, some of them are coming in there, they're rapists, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I do believe he's being genuine. He's a genuine racist asshole.
Why do you think he's racist,
I've never
though?
heard him say, what does he need to be genuine about? And if you're genuine, doesn't mean you're correct. If you're genuinely wrong, like you're now, you're genuine. I believe you're genuine when you believe that only pretrial services, pretrial release gets bond conditions. And if I believe you're genuine, but you're wrong.
Why do you think he's racist, though? I don't
make it right.
I don't get why you think he's racist.
That dude's so freaking racist. It's a shame.
How?
He got sued for being a racist, bro.
What do you mean?
Bro, he got sued. He lost the judgment to the Department of Justice because they used to have a code for all the buildings he was managing. You had to put a C by the applicant so you could know they were colored, so that you could reject the application. He went to court and lost over that shit, bro. What do I need? What do I need him to do?
Do you know who Biden?
Walk around with a noose?
Do you know who Biden wrote his dissertation on?
It doesn't matter who you write your dissertation on.
The KKK
What
leader.
does it matter? What?
The Ku Klux Klan leader.
Okay, so writing a dissertation don't mean you agree with the person, bro.
All right, so why aren't you giving Trump that benefit of the doubt that you just gave Biden?
No, it's not a matter of the benefit of the doubt. You're saying somebody wrote a dissertation on something.
He also said if you don't vote Democrat, you're not black.
My daughter just wrote a paper in high school on Chinese communism. It's not because she's a communist. It's because
Did you just see how uncomfortable Biden was around black people at that church where he doesn't even move? He's stiff.
Oh yeah, yawn, bro.
That dude hates black people.
Your guy, yeah, but your guy is actually freaking having a policy where
he openly said he doesn't want his kids going to a school that's a racial jungle with black people.
Okay.
And that doesn't matter to you.
I don't want my kids going to a school in a racial jungle either.
You don't want them near white people?
No, I said I don't want them in a racial jungle.
Why not?
I don't want them in a situation. Because I don't want them in a situation where there are racial tensions that are inflamed. I'm not saying that I don't want them around white people. I'm not saying I don't want them around black people or Indians or Latinos or anybody else.
Then who are you talking about?
In a situation where the tensions are inflamed.
Oh God, dude, you are trying so hard to defend the actual racist dude.
You're asking me. You're asking me about me. So, but what I'm telling you is, when you have a policy that you don't rent to black people, and I'm not sure how you excuse it now.
Oh my God, that shit is so made up.
30 years ago, he just used to be a racist. Get the fuck out of here. He's a racist.
Do you have a copy of the policy?
Oh, you can go look it up on the internet.
Oh, because it's real on the internet.
He got sued. No, he got sued. What you can look up in the internet is you don't have to go in and look up on the internet for an article. You can go on the internet and go into whichever county, Nassau County or whichever county where it was filed, and you will see the court record. I mean, you ain't got to believe me. Now, what you're going to do is you're not going to do that because you want to believe bullshit. Dude had a policy where you wrote a C next to the application to know that you keep out the niggers.
Dude, you call me a conspiracy theorist? That is some conspiracy theorist shit.
It's not a conspiracy. He got sued. It's like me saying, you know what? This guy named Andrew Johnson got
and Trump wrote the N-word on a document. That is such a fucking lie, dude.
Bro, the theory. I'm not telling you he wrote the N-word. You never heard what I just said. It said the policy, the approval policy at the buildings that he ran. You wrote the letter C beside it for colored, and those people would not get apartments. He lost the case, bro. He got sued. He lost.
You have the document?
Because they proved it.
You have the document?
I told you, you can go right online and go into.
So he wrote the letter. He wrote the letter C.
Don't go online and look for an article. You can go online and look for and find the actual case, the actual filings, the actual complaint, all the discovery that was made public. You can go and find it all.
So he wrote the letter C, and you filled in your own bias and think that means colored.
Not him. That was a policy at the places that he ran.
And what makes you think it means colored?
Bro. Because
what if it means credit? What if it means bad credit?
The employees, because, you know why? Because the employees testified.
The black employees did?
That's why he lost.
Were the ones that testified black?
What?
Were the ones that testified black?
No, because he wasn't hiring anybody that was black. His employees testified that we were instructed to write a C on the application. If you don't want to believe it because you don't like it, that's fine.
So he had no black tenants, and he banned black people from renting at his area. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, go look it up. Instead of just asking me, go look it up. It's in the court documents. It's in the court file. The complaint is there. The case he lost was there. The settlement was there. There is stuff about him talking about it. It's happened. I'm not making this shit up. You don't want to believe it because you think that this guy's the second coming of Christ, but he's just a racist asshole. And the thing is this, is the fact that he's racist is only one of the problems. He's got
so my question is this though. There's actual video of Biden being openly racist, but you don't discount that.
There's what?
There's actual video of Biden proving he's racist, but you don't care.
Who said I didn't care?
Well, you just made an excuse for him.
It's a binary choice. So let's say I don't like cats, okay? But I really despise cats. And dogs are okay with me. And I have a choice. I gotta pick one. I'm gonna pick the dog. Not because I love the dog, but because I hate the fucking cat. So you gotta realize when it's a binary choice, you have a choice between two people. Is Biden my favorite person? No. Do I think? Look at his son Hunter. His son Hunter is a piece of shit. He got what he had coming today. He got convicted. He had it coming. He's a piece of shit. Who the hell goes and sleeps with his brother's widow and gets her hooked on crack? A douchebag. He's a douche. And you know what? If Hunter Biden was running for president, I wouldn't vote for his ass. But he's just his kid. Your guy, the person who is running for president, he's the asshole. Not his kid.
How
does he's a monumental asshole.
How does he have the most black support out of any Republican in the history of America?
Because a big fucking brainwash is going on, and also there's a big brainwash going on. That's why everybody's freaking cowering. I mean, after this freaking douchebag clown, and he is the least intelligent of anybody who's ever been on a political stage, and also the biggest lowlife. But you know what? There's some little spiritual psychosis going on, and he got a whole bunch of people don't care what he does. As long as he could go in there and not only rape a woman, he could rape their wife and kid. Oh, it's okay. It's Trump. No problem. I love it. Never happened. Jeez. Never happened. Would never happen. You see the guy?
Yeah, he went into a fucking Kohl's and went into a dressing room. Come on.
What?
The lady said they were in a department store.
Bro, he's on tape talking about the fact that one of the reasons he got the Miss Universe concert is because he can walk up back in there when they're not have no clothes on. Come on, man. The guy's a fucking sleazebag. Okay? He's a douche. And just because you're a Republican don't mean you're a douche. It does kind of nowadays to the extent that you're fawning over him. But you know all the non-douche Republicans? The Mitt Romneys, the ones who say, look, I can't stand for this shit. I'm a Republican. I've always been a Republican. The General Kellys, the people who everybody loves. General Kelly, greatest general ever. McMaster's greatest general. He comes out and says, hey, this is the most flawed human being I've ever seen.
Dude, I don't even know.
He doesn't care to do shit. And all of a sudden, they're never Trumpers. They're the greatest thing since sliced bread 2 weeks ago. But the minute they come out and say, bro, I saw it up close and this guy's a fucking disaster,
you're probably, like, judging by how you feel about Trump, you're probably going to be rushing the Capitol like I did when he gets elected.
No, because I don't do that. I don't do that shit. It's the people. Look, a country gets the government they deserve. And if the majority of the people in this country are so fucking stupid that they're going to try and risk fascism and turn over their shit
Dude, you're supporting.
If it happens.
You're supporting actual fascism.
Bro, that's not. What am I supporting? That's fascism. How come it was communism like 2 months ago and now it's fascism? Which is it? Do you know the difference?
It's a fucking hybrid Nazi fucking democratic socialist party.
Oh yeah. And then right, the hybrid Nazi socialist party. Yet still, Trump is the one who just by chance.
You know Hitler was a socialist, right?
Trump says he's never read Mein Kampf before. Meanwhile, his colleagues from 30 years ago says it's on his bedside table, and he manages to be giving speeches in his campaign that quote some of that same language, and his campaign puts out some shit saying
so you don't
you're gonna have a unified. Well, you tell me what that means. Does that bother you? When your campaign says something, we're gonna win and we're gonna have a unified Reich. So what the hell? Out of every word to use, the only one that hasn't been used by anybody but Nazis and has been sworn off from everybody. That's what he uses for his campaign shit. But we're the Nazis.
Dude, you're telling me.
His campaign.
You're telling me mandating vaccines en masse and shutting down business isn't fascist?
It wasn't mandated.
That's not fascist?
Bro, it's a freaking pandemic.
No, it wasn't. It was the fucking flu.
That's the thing. That's your opinion. It wasn't a pandemic.
It's proven now. It's all in the open and proven now.
So if it's a pandemic,
it wasn't a pandemic.
If it's a pandemic and you think it's a pandemic, it's okay.
It was a flu season.
If they made it a law that everybody got to freaking buy condoms when they fuck because people are having freaking
which they didn't even do during COVID.
Oh, that's fascism. What?
They didn't mandate condoms at strip clubs during COVID.
You know why? Because it wasn't enforceable.
Oh.
And they didn't mandate vaccines either. They said you can't come inside this room if you don't want to vax. You want to vax, knock yourself out.
Yeah, if
you want to come in this room, you got to vax.
They use the private companies just like every communist country does. They use the private public perversion of law, and they turn policy into law.
Yawn.
Look it up.
Now a pandemic wasn't a pandemic.
Dude, you didn't see Have you not heard of the North Korean defector? Have you not heard of the North Korean defector?
Oh God. Oh, yeah. Who is he?
It's a female.
Who is the guy? Who is he?
Dude, look up. Do me a favor.
The only place you can get the information on these people is some yokel.
No, there's interviews. Like, you can watch her say it herself.
Bullshit.
You can watch her say it herself. Dude, listen. There's a chick that escaped North Korea's sex slavery, right? And she came to America, and she's been warning Americans, America is resembling the beginning of communism. And there's Chinese women that lived through the beginning of communism in China.
Which is it? I thought it was fascism. Which is it? You just called it fascism, now it's communism. Two entirely different things.
I told you it's a hybrid.
Well, you can't have a hybrid because one comes from the left and one comes from the right.
Not true.
Fascist, bro, is all the big money in the land ruling by authoritarianism. Communism is mobilizing the people, and it's a populist movement.
So you don't think blue cities telling you got to stay in your house is fascist?
Bro, what? How do you define fascist? You tell me. Do you know what fascism means?
Ultimate authoritarian.
No.
Yes.
You can have authoritarians who are communists. You want to tell me that Fidel Castro isn't a communist? That Vladimir Putin wasn't? Vladimir Putin started off as a communist authoritarian. Now that he's got a shitload of money in his pocket and he can influence all these other oligarchs who he gave a shitload of money to, now it's fascism. That's the difference. One comes from the left and one comes from the right.
You know why you do know why Putin hit the hospitals first, right?
Communism says we take everybody's money and we spread it out. Fascism says we take everybody's money and we put it in our fucking pockets. That's the difference. So they're completely different. Both of them have an element of authoritarianism, which I agree you have authoritarianism in fascism, and you also have it in communism. So if what you're talking about is authoritarianism,
fascists tell you that you're going to do something, and if you disagree, you go to jail. That's a fascist.
Oh yeah, what do you think communists do?
Same thing.
What do you think? What do you think? Right. So that's not fascism.
That's why I called it a hybrid. That's why I called it a hybrid.
I know, but you're wrong.
You know Hitler was a socialist, right? You do know Hitler was a socialist?
It's the definition of authoritarianism that you're trying to do.
But you do know Hitler was a socialist.
But you're conflating the concept of authoritarianism. Fascism and communism are political philosophies.
No, they could be the same.
No, they're not.
Do you know Hitler was a socialist or not?
I don't give a fuck what Hitler was.
The Nazi party is called the National Socialists.
Okay, so what? Who gives a shit?
So you're telling me that you can't be a Nazi and a socialist at the same time?
No, I did not say that. I said you're conflating the concept of authoritarianism with a political philosophy. Authoritarianism just means you have no due process, and whatever the fuck I say goes. That's authoritarianism, and they're fascists who are authoritarian, and they're communists.
Have you so you're not allowed to vote here yet?
Between fascism and communism, because they're two entirely diametrically opposed philosophies. Now you can have authoritarianism sitting on the top of either one, but it doesn't mean that it's a hybrid. Fascism says, let's keep all the freaking money, y'all eat dirt. Communism says, we're going to take the money from the rich and we're going to spread it out to everybody. So you can't have a hybrid of the two because they're diametrically opposed.
So are you agreeing? Are you agreeing with communism?
What?
Are you agreeing and saying that communism is good?
No, I'm not saying communism is good. And I'm not saying fascism is good. And I'm not saying authoritarianism is good. I believe in capitalism, but I think any one of those that's applied without some limiting aspect to it is going to be disastrous.
Why? How can you limit success though?
Capitalism needs to be tempered. All right?
How can you temper success?
It's not a matter of tempering success. It's how do you temper capitalism? Now, the philosophy of capitalism says that the philosophy of capitalism pretty much says the strong live and the weak die.
Yeah.
Right?
That's Nietzscheanism.
You cannot have that. Yeah, but you can't have that shit in a country. You can't have that as the sole governing philosophy of a country. You know why? Because there are a whole lot of people who are not gonna. It's like let's all play Monopoly, okay? And I'm gonna call a fair game on Monopoly, and I'm gonna give these people $5 million each to start. I'm gonna give this guy zero. I'm gonna give these people over the left with the $5 million. I'm gonna give them the right to all the land. These guys over on the left here, I'm gonna tell them not only do you not have the right to own land, you can't have a vote, and also let me tell you something else. You have to pay rent on every property. Okay, now let's take our hands off the wheel and let's play fair. Same rules to everybody. That is not a viable system. So if the world was starting tomorrow and everybody got the same talents and opportunity, and God dropped everybody out of the sky and said go, you could call that fair. But but on a history of slavery, on a history of authoritarianism, on a history of all kind of abuses and atrocities, on a history where you have eight people, there are 8 families in this world who have more money than 50% of the rest of the population of the world.
Yeah.
You can say, all right, and you're going to say, okay, well, you know what? It's capitalism, and the same rules apply for that guy over there who has no education. His mom's a prostitute, and his dad's in jail, and he just got born yesterday. And there's a kid over here that's got born, and his dad's got $30 billion. Same rules for everybody. It's fair. Go. No, that's not fair, and it's not tenable, and it's not viable. So that's why you can't have unfettered capitalism, because if you do it, what's going to happen is the rich going to keep getting richer, the poor are going to keep
That's
getting
not
poorer,
true.
and one of these things, that's exactly true.
If you have, listen, if you have,
the wealth gap has expanded.
if you have anarcho-capitalism,
The wealth gap has never contracted.
but if you have
In the history of mankind.
hang on. If you have anarcho-capitalism, those rich people just get robbed and they get all their shit taken.
Okay, is that what you want? You think that's a good idea?
I think that's what we need.
Yeah, so let's have it. Let's have it so you can have 20 Ferraris and 55 Rolls Royces, and when you pull up at a gas station to get gas, you get a freaking ice pick.
You need a gun. You got to protect yourself. You got to protect yourself.
Yeah, okay, so now it's okay. So it's okay for this guy to pull up in his Ferrari and shoot some guy who's just trying to get a sandwich while he has 20 Ferraris at the crib. I don't know what you're thinking, but here's the thing. If you think that's okay, you're the fucking one getting shot, bro.
No, I'm definitely not the one getting shot.
All right, well, you ain't the one with the Ferraris either. You best know that.
I would
more money than you.
I would
They get
just
a lot of money.
I would just easily take somebody's Ferrari.
What?
I would just take the Ferrari.
Right, I know, but you haven't taken it yet.
I would.
Right now, here's what happened. They took your license. You got a van. They took your house. They're about to take your liberty, probably. And you think you're winning this shit. You ain't winning, bro.
Define winning.
Meanwhile, Trump, define winning is having a license, having a house, having a car, and not having your liberty at stake. But I tell you what, meanwhile, you got a douchebag like Trump who steals everybody's freaking money, who gets sued 1,300 times, who declares bankrupt 6 times, who got $400 million from his dad that if he put in an interest-bearing 3% account savings, he'd have 10 more months, 10 times
Dude,
more money than he
you
has
know
now.
more.
So
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't like Trump because you know more about him than I do?
I know. So having knowledge doesn't mean you like something. Just like doing your paper on the Ku Klux Klan don't mean you support it. The fact is, knowing is better than not knowing. And walking around being proud of not knowing don't help. The fact is, when you are all fawning over some dude who has a list of faults as long as train smoke, but you don't know about it.
Are you still?
All you're doing is hurting yourself. You're not hurting him.
In November.
When you are being deliberately ignorant. When you're deliberately turning a blind eye to somebody's faults and somebody's history because you want to say I like him.
No, I'm not the one doing that.
Going on a false premise of bullshit.
Are you still listen, in November, when you hear the election results, are you still going to send me a picture of you with your Trump pajamas on?
Oh, if Trump wins? No. Remember, I had to do something if I voted for Trump. We already dealt with that.
Well, now let's change it. If he wins, you wear Trump pajamas and you post it on social media.
Well, hold on a second. I think we had something on if he gets convicted, and he got convicted 34 times in a row. I don't know. What lovely gift can we get from you for that?
Oh man.
Bastard.
I need screenshots of that.
The jurors get his information from Truth Social.
No, I'm not on Truth Social.
But he sat down in there and he heard all the evidence, And he's like, this sack of shit is guilty 34 times.
Yeah, over something that wasn't even an issue with the banks.
No, that's not this one. This one was in the bank.
What one are you talking about?
The bank. We're talking about what he just got convicted of. Don't have shit to do with a bank.
Yeah, it was the Stormy Daniels thing.
Yeah, falsifying the record. But you know what? Nobody was bitching when they convicted Michael Cohen of the same exact shit. Nobody was bitching when that guy Edwards, the Democratic, he wasn't a front runner, but he was second to Clinton by at least a few points, and they indicted him for the same shit. Nobody was bitching. All of a sudden, it's a problem.
This is how confident I am that Trump might win every state. I will wear a Joe Biden T-shirt that says "I love Biden," and I'll put it all over my social media if he wins. But if Trump wins,
no. You just said he's gonna win every state. If he doesn't win every state, you got to do that.
No. That's my gut telling me that. But I'm saying he's easily gonna win.
Your gut's wrong as shit, like it always is. But hey, what are you gonna do if he doesn't win every state?
I'm not gonna make a bet based on that.
Why not?
I'm telling you, Trump will be the next president. That's my wager. That's my bet.
Put it this way, I don't disagree that he has a good chance because the country is brainwashed and they're about to step on their dick. So what?
Are you going to be okay? Are you going to be okay when he wins?
I'll be good. You know who else was voted into office? Adolf Hitler. So what does it mean to be voted in? Don't mean a damn thing. It just means that you got more people voting for you. It doesn't mean you're great. It doesn't mean you're right. It doesn't mean you're not a criminal asshole.
Do you got grandkids?
Nope.
You got kids?
Got one daughter.
Is she gonna have kids?
Hopefully.
So in 40 years, when they look back and they say, "What side was Granddaddy on? Was he on the right side of history?" What are they gonna say?
They're gonna say yes because he never voted for that douchebag ass Trump. They're gonna say, "Who's Trump?" It's like that guy. Look him on the internet. That guy wearing the orange jumpsuit. That's Trump. How much time did he get? A long ass time because he's a slime ball.
Oh man.
That's how the conversation's gonna go.
When are we gonna hang, man? We gotta hang.
Come on down, bro. I'll buy you a steak dinner.
All right, I'm gonna try to find a way.
I had a reservation at a fat steak restaurant up there in D.C. and you sold me out for that big fat chick in the moo-moo.
No, dude.
I think you were trying to get some of that.
I thought you were staying for more than that day. I thought you were staying for more than that day.
You thought what?
I didn't think you were leaving right away.
I left the next morning.
Yeah, I thought you were there for a few days.
Reservations that night. But that's the thing, you sold me out. I think you saw that chick with the fat chick with the moo-moo and the one tooth.
With the moo-moo? Who the fuck had on a moo-moo?
The baby that's sitting down in court with us.
She didn't have on a moo-moo?
You know what a moo-moo is?
Yeah, it's what the African old black women wear.
Nah, big old dress that looks like a tent.
Oh man.
Fat ass. She had on a moo-moo. She had what? How many teeth was she missing in the front? That must have been a good night with them missing teeth for you.
You're a mess.
You could have had a good steak, but instead you went and got a what do you call it? A pork shoulder.
You're a mess.
You went and got a fatback.
No, we went. I met actually one of my researchers drove 3 hours to come see and document the trial. And
yeah, you're breaking up bad, and I got heavy rain over here. I can't hear shit.
All right, well, hit me later.
You said what?
I said one of my researchers came down. He drove 3 hours.
Nah, all right. He caught you I'm gonna be up in Bonita Springs for a few days, and if you want me to meet me there, buy your steak there too.
All right, you got to show up in Trump pajamas, though. You got to wear Trump pajamas.
Not at the dinner.
What, after the dinner?
What are you going to do when he gets convicted on his second one? What are you going to do then?
Yeah, I'm going to laugh harder.
There you go. See, you won't commit to doing anything embarrassing because you know his guilty punk ass about to get convicted, I guess.
Oh, man, we got to get you out of this funk.
I know one day, you know what? You don't know how much I'm going to be. Damn near all my friends know about you. You don't know how much we're going to rejoice. I'm going to get all my friends together. We're all going to freaking celebrate you. It's going to be like an intervention when you rid yourself of the idiocy.
Oh, my God.
Henry came home. He's a good guy. We like him. He got rid of the freaking Trump psychosis. I mean, the thing is this. You know, like Nixon, I couldn't stand Nixon. I mean, I didn't know him as a kid. I knew him growing up. I couldn't stand him. But you know what he was? He was a smart guy. He was a smart guy. He was a douchebag, but he was a smart guy. Trump's a douchebag, and he's an idiot. That's the biggest part. He's an idiot and a douchebag, and by all accounts, he failed. He's a rapist. He's a lowlife. He's a con man. And there's nothing redeemable about this guy. The only thing redeemable about Trump is that he is not immortal. And one day that bastard is going to die. That's the only thing that's redeemable. His flesh may feed a couple hungry worms.
You clipped out. Oh, call drop.